Greetings to you all, church. I had a quick thought that came to me, and I just want to share it with you this morning, and I pray that it will be a blessing to you. Let me start with a question. The question is this: when serving God, are you casting in of your abundance out of duty, or are you casting in all that you have out of loyalty? Let me ask you that again. When serving God, are you casting in of your abundance out of duty, or are you casting in all you have out of loyalty? There's a difference. You see, when you're casting in of your abundance, it doesn't mean that much, because it feels as though it's just duty. It's something that I've always done. But when you're casting in all you have out of loyalty, out of love, there's a difference. I remember some time ago, I had an acquaintance, somebody that I knew, and it was around Christmas time, and they went out just before Christmas, and they went out and purchased a gift for me. I wasn't expecting it. And so, when they gave it to me, I said, you didn't have to do this. I really wasn't expecting to receive a gift from you. And they gave it. They had a smile on their face. I took it and I opened it up, and it was a very nice gift, quite an expensive gift. Now, in my mind and in my heart, I thought to myself, well, they purchased something for me, so now I have to return the favor. So, I went out and I purchased a gift for them. I looked at what they purchased me, and I looked at the fact that it was a fairly expensive gift. So I went out and tried to get something around the same amount of money, and purchased it for them and gave it to them. Now, when you think of that situation and you think of that story, my reasoning for buying something for them is because they purchased me something. Nothing beyond that. You see, I had no intentions of buying this person a gift, none whatsoever. As a matter of fact, when I was looking at giving gifts and purchasing gifts, this person never once came to mind. But because they purchased me something, I felt a duty to give them something back. Was my motive really pure? My intentions towards them really pure? If they hadn't purchased something, would I really have given them something? Absolutely not. The only reason they got something was because they purchased something for me. And it goes back to our lives and our walk with God. You see, man looks at the outward appearance and looks at what we see. But with God, he looks at the heart. He looks at the motive. He looks beyond what we see, and he looks at why we're doing the things that we do. And sometimes, as Christians, we are out there. We are doing what we can. We are, talking to people. We are reaching people. And all of that is great. But oftentimes we do that because we want the pat on the back. Oftentimes it's done because, we want people to look at us and say, yes, this person's doing a great job. And this is why, this short word came to me. It's important for us to look at our motives behind doing the things that we do. Because it's not so much what we do as it is why we're doing it. If you look at Proverbs chapter 16, I'll read Proverbs chapter 16 from verse 1 to 5. I'll read from verse 1. It says, "The preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. The Lord have made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil." Verse 5, "Every one that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. Every man that is proud in heart is an abomination. In all thy ways, or all the ways of man, are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. In other words, what this scripture is saying is that the Lord or God looks at the heart of man. He looks at the motives of man, whether they be pure or whether not. And if he finds that we're doing things because of our proud selves or because we want the glory, it's an abomination to God. And in James chapter 4, verse 3, it goes even further and says, ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust. In other words, our prayers can be hindered by us having the wrong motives in serving God. It's important for us to have the right motives. It's important for us to serve God in the right way. Because you see, you can fool me and I can fool you. But we can't fool God, because God looks at the heart of man. He's not looking at our actions. You know, a lot of people come to church that are not saved. A lot of people come to church because it's routine. But you see, God looks at the heart of man. Not necessarily just the actions of man, but the heart of man, to see what is really behind why we do what we do. If you look at Mark chapter 12, it tells a story here. Mark chapter 12, I'll read from verse 41 to 44. Very short story here. It says this: and Jesus sat over against the treasury, and behold, how the people cast money into the treasury. And many that were rich cast much. And there came a certain poor widow, and she threw in 2 mites, which make a farthing. And he called him, his disciples, and said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, that this poor widow have cast more in than all they that have cast into the treasury. For all they did cast in of their abundance, but she of her want did cast in all that she had, even all her living. I'm going to read verse 44 again. It says, for all they did cast in of their abundance, but she of her want did cast in all that she had, even all her living. In other words, those that were rich cast in their abundance, and they did it out of a duty. You know, it's something that we're used to doing. It's something that it's just done. It doesn't mean much to us because it's just of our abundance. So it's easily for us to cast it in. But when it came to the widowed woman, what she did was she cast in all that she had, everything that she had. And Jesus turned to his disciples and said, she in the end gave more, even though it was only two mites. She ended up giving in more than those that gave of their abundance. And that brings me back to the initial question that I asked. When serving God, are you casting in of your abundance, or out of duty? Or is it out of something that we always do? I grew up going to church, so yes, I will pray. I will speak to people. Is that out of duty, or is it out of loyalty to God? Is it out of your love for God? Because the reasons why you do these things is important to God. I may not be able to see your reasons. I may not be able to read your motives, but God does. And that's what he looks at, and that's how we're judged. By our motives, by what's drawing us or driving us to do what we do for God. It's okay to be on the street, and there are a number of people that are on the street corners and shouting and saying, you need to be saved, you need to be saved, and I appreciate people that evangelize. It's a very good thing to do, and it's a very important thing to do, and it's what God called us to do. But if we're only doing it so that we can receive the praise for it, then God is not glorified in that. So your motives are just as important as the act that you follow through with, which draws back to that same question. When serving God, are you casting out of your abundance? Are you just doing it because it's something that I always do? It's something that my parents did. It's something that, will make me look good. It's something that people will pat me on the back and say, good job, good job. Is that what we're looking for? Or are we serving God out of our love for him? Out of a loyalty for him? Are we casting in all that we have out of our loyalty to a holy God? That's just my quick thought that I want to leave with you, and I pray that God will bless you throughout this week, and that you will continue to receive from him and serve him in loyalty, giving all that you have to him with the right motives. God bless you.